Deep in the heart of West Africa, where rainforests whisper secrets of the past, a city once stood that rivaled the wonders of the world. Its walls stretched farther than the Great Wall of China. Its glory outshone the cities of Europe. This is the story of Benin, a kingdom forgotten by time, but never by its people. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more videos. When we think of the world's greatest walls, our minds race to the Great Wall of China. But hidden in the dense rainforests of West Africa once stood a marvel that dwarfed it in length, the Great Walls of Benin. A city so grand, so powerful, that European explorers described it as one of the most magnificent cities they had ever seen. Yet today, few people know its name. The Kingdom of Benin, not to be confused with the modern country of Benin, rose in present-day southern Nigeria. Its story begins around 800 AD, when small villages began uniting under the Ajiso dynasty. These leaders created the foundation of what would later become a vast and powerful empire. By the time Oba Yuka I ascended the throne in the 12th century, the Kingdom of Benin had already grown into a thriving civilization ruled by the Oba, a divine king whose word was law. At its height, Benin City was described as greater than London or Amsterdam. Streets were carefully laid out in perfect order. Massive gates led into the city, opening to avenues wide enough for 10 horsemen to ride abreast. Homes of mud walls and palm-thatched roofs stretched as far as the eye could see, while the royal palace, decorated with brass plaques and towering courtyards, stood as the beating heart of the empire. But what truly set Benin apart were its walls. Imagine a city surrounded by earthen ramparts and deep moats, stretching over 16,000 kilometers in combined length. To put it simply, the Great Wall of China is about 6,000 kilometers long. The Benin walls, together, were nearly 3 times that size. This was no simple fence. It was an engineering wonder, dug entirely by human hands, community by community, for centuries. The walls were more than defense. They were sacred. Before digging began, priests blessed the ground with rituals to call upon the gods for protection. The moat itself was both a military barrier and a spiritual shield, believed to trap invaders and keep evil spirits at bay. These fortifications earned Benin the reputation of being the best protected city in the world during its time. Behind those walls stood a formidable army. The soldiers of Benin were disciplined, fierce, and loyal to the Oba. Warrior guilds trained from youth, armed with poisoned arrows, spears, and later muskets obtained through trade. Their strategy was unmatched. Ambushes in the forest, surprise attacks, and a deep knowledge of the terrain that left enemies bewildered. When the Portuguese arrived in the 15th century, they were stunned. They wrote of wide streets, bustling markets, an order unlike anything they had seen in Europe. Trade flourished. Benin exported pepper, ivory, cloth, and later slaves, in exchange for guns, mirrors, and beads. Yet despite foreign contact, the kingdom preserved its traditions, its religion, and above all, its pride. But in 1897, disaster struck. The British, hungry for control of Benin's wealth, sent a so-called punitive expedition. Thousands of troops marched on Benin City, burning, looting, and destroying what had taken centuries to build. The great walls that once stood as guardians of the kingdom were breached with fire and gunpowder. In that invasion, thousands of Benin's treasures were stolen, the famous Benin Bronzes, masterpieces of brass and ivory, crafted by generations of guildsmen, were carried off to museums and private collections in Europe. Today, you can find them in London, Berlin, and New York, far from the land that birthed them. Each piece is a stolen chapter of history, scattered across the globe. And yet, the spirit of Benin lives on. The Oba of Benin still reigns as a cultural leader. Festivals, dances, and rituals continue. The descendants of those who built the walls still walk the land, carrying the memory of their ancestors' greatness. Around the world, voices grow louder, demanding the return of the stolen bronzes, so that Benin's legacy may shine again on its own soil. The Great Walls of Benin, longer than the Great Wall of China, mightier than Rome's aqueducts, and as sacred as Egypt's pyramids. They may no longer stand in their full glory, but their story endures. For greatness is not only in stone and earth, but in the memory of a people who refuse to be forgotten.